All right, Kayla, are you ready to get hated on for this review?
No, I don't want to be hated on.
No? All right.
But I guess if we have to be.
All right, so Shudder has a new film. This is actually pretty fitting because I started listening to the Exploding Heads horror movie podcast again, and they're covering the Hell House films. And so it's been making me want to go revisit the Hell House films, even though I don't love 2 through 4. But I don't know, it's just kind of become something I'm like, yeah. But then this kind of dropped. I thought I heard about this, but it wasn't 100%. I knew he had a new movie coming out, but this is 825 Forest Road by writer-director Stephen Cognetti, who is the creator and director of the Hell House LLC films. And I thought because of that, this would be found footage. It is not. This is a more traditional narrative, like filmmaking style. And this is about a brother and sister and the brother's wife, and they are moving into a new house. And while they're there, they find out that the whole town, which is one of the coolest parts of this movie, but we'll get there. Kind of knows this town is haunted.
Yeah.
And so they start to investigate it, and this is told from each one of their perspectives. So it's like chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, all from each character's perspectives, starting kind of at the beginning each time, but going through their experience with this stuff. Man, I'll just blow my wad to start right now. I love this. I don't get the hate that's happening right now. Like, I saw a bunch of negativity on IMDb. It has like a 4.9. I don't know, man. I just feel like because movies are either little, like, more simple or maybe predictable in some areas, or especially like lower budgeted. I don't know, man. I just thought this was so cool. I really enjoyed. I don't really have almost any complaint about the film. I thought it was creepy. I thought it was really well acted.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was great too. I had a really good time with it. I think that there's some really great setups for scares, and I really do love the first Hell House movie. I think it's a really fantastic found footage film, and it's cool to see this director doing stuff that's not found footage.
Yeah.
And I think that they did it really successfully, honestly. I think that the haunted house, aspect is just very, very solid. And as you said, the idea that it's the whole town kind of knows, and it's sort of pervasive and everything, that is also a very cool part of the movie. Mm-hmm. But I agree, I thought everybody's performance was really solid, and I like that we get to spend time seeing events happening from each of their perspectives. I think that's a really unique way to tell the story.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the visuals, I was freaked out. I was definitely freaked out a few times. I think that there's, some really scary stuff in terms of how the entity looks, and also background stuff, which is something that is done very, very well in Hell House. And I think that carries over here, where there's just, things out of the corner of your eye, kind of blink and you'll miss it type of stuff. Which, for me, with haunted house movies, and generally most horror movies, but definitely when you're dealing with ghosts and haunted houses, that's a must. You have to have the stuff lurking in the background, where the characters don't know it's there, and you might not know it's there. It just adds to the ambiance, and I think that it's fantastic in this.
If you're a fan of haunted house movies, if you're a fan of the Hell House LLC films, if you don't mind lower budgeted movies, then absolutely you should be watching this. I think that this is a very well executed, well thought out, and that's something, with the Hell House movies, as much shit as I may give the sequels, I don't hate them, but I think that they are inferior to the first for sure. But the one place where I think they're very successful is in their world building. And I think that Stephen Cognetti really puts a lot of thought into the world that he is building in his films. And I thought that this town is really well thought out. I think the story here is very cool. I was really into the lore within this. And I really did. Like, I thought the performances from all three leads here are really solid. Because they're like no-name actors, because this is lower budget, I still think it looks great. It does still have a low-budget feel to it to a degree. But, man, I just don't care. That stuff never bothers me. In actuality, it adds charm to the film.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of seeing the same 40 actors in every fucking movie. And it's really nice to see regular people give solid performances in unique indie films.
I agree.
So for me, this is a huge win. I mean, right now, this is easily in probably my top, I don't know. I'd have to really look at the list. I think I've watched like 35, 36 horror movies this year. Oh, this would more than likely be in my top 5. Easy. I really enjoyed the shit out of this. I thought it was a really well done haunted house movie. I'm a big fan of like indie haunted house movies. As long as you can build a good atmosphere and you can have creepy things going on and I buy into the characters and I care about them, and I did. I liked all 3 characters. I never really questioned motives other than, the typical move, right? Or something like that. But I don't think the movie ever goes overboard. And I think the way that they're able to achieve that, and what's so smart about the way that Steven has written this film, is in order for this to work in a way that feels like, you're not questioning why they haven't left, right? Because as a film continues to keep having to outdo itself and elevate the stakes, at some point along that journey, once things get so out of control, in order to keep the audience's attention, the believability of them not leaving becomes very hard. Right? As to where with this one, every time it kind of gets to that place where it's like, okay, I think they'd leave now, cut back to the beginning.
Right.
Tell it from a different perspective and how they have different things that happen to them. As soon as you get to the place where it's like, boom, move, cut, back to the beginning. It's very smart in that way because it is hard to hold a story like this for an hour and a half without you being like, you've got to leave this house, right? So with this one, it subtly builds for about 30 minutes. It's like an anthology of sorts.
Yeah.
Very connected anthology. But each one builds to this climax to where it's like, okay, time to go. And then we start over. So I think that was a really smart way to structure a story like this so you don't get those questions as much. And it adds to the experience because you're like hearing stuff or seeing things that are happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then you get to fill those in later because you're like, oh, what was that scream? And then in the next segment, you get to hear why that person was screaming. And it makes perfect sense. And everything lines up really well, too. There's a lot of movies, especially like time loop movies, right? Like Groundhog Day or something where you're like, that's not possible. Like, because of what you've set up, he can't get to the Punxsutawney Fair with donuts and coffee for everybody. Because in another scene, he literally got out of bed and ran straight there. And he's still in the exact same moment as when he usually arrives. And then somehow in other versions, he's able to be there before anyone's even there. You're like, that doesn't line up. This movie, I never had that issue. Where like, when somebody would do something, and then we would know that character was going to be there, and the beats in between the time in which the noise is made or whatever, lines up.
It does.
And that kind of attention to detail is so important to me as like somebody who's into continuity. I love that kind of stuff. So that was killing for me. I love that. I was super into the creepy stuff. Man, Stephen Cognetti really knows how to play with like mannequins and dolls. That's his bread and butter.
Inanimate objects are always really scary.
The freaking mannequin in this movie rivals his clown in the Hell House movies. I thought as soon as we saw that mannequin, I was like, oh hell no.
No, throw it out. Get rid of it.
So, big win for me. A 4.99 on IMDb. I shouldn't be surprised. I feel like we get 5 of these every year where they're lower budgeted, haunted house type movies, and people are like, been there, done that. This isn't. But this is... No. This is such a good movie that it upsets me that so many people are so dismissive of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched any reviews or heard like the criticisms or anything for the film, but I mean, we obviously both really liked it, and
I loved it.
Yeah. You loved it. I really liked it too. Like I would say I probably am close to loving it for sure. I thought it was really great. So I don't know. I everything that you had said about the continuity and timing, like I agree completely with all of that. I think that's another aspect that makes it just flow really well. Mm-hmm. And I think you should watch it especially if you're a fan of the first Hell House movie or all of them or any of them. Definitely check it out. And then, as you had said, like if you in general are somebody who likes indie haunted house movies, I think it's worth your watch for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame. I hope more people watch it and, the fans are found and more people like it, because that's obviously always the goal with movies is to have people enjoy them.
Yeah. And I think that, him taking a break from Hell House was proved to be very rewarding. I'm glad he took this in-between movie because he made Hell House 1, 2, 3, and then the Carmichael Manor, which is like a prequel kind of thing. And then I think the new one, like Lineage, I want to say isn't that a prequel too? There's like 2 prequels in a row. That's like Paranormal Activity 2 and 3, right? Prequel and then a prequel to the prequel. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't know what the new one's about, but I think that this could kind of reinvigorate him a bit into putting a better effort out. And I think that this was a cool break from the Hell House movies. I was very happy to see him move into a traditional film. Yeah, me too. And try his hand out at something else. It's still a haunted supernatural thing, but he likes to go big. Yeah. His concepts are bigger, and the fact that like the whole town is haunted.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I was super into that. It's not just the house, right? It's like it's everywhere. Yeah. And there's a lot. And this is what's great about the Hell House. Last thing is he has such great payoffs. Yes. He sets things up that are creepy, but they have purpose. And when they come to when they're revealed later in the movie of what they are, they don't feel eye-rolly. They feel well-earned. It's like, oh, that's why that thing was like that. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, I love those little moments where there's a callback to something earlier in the film where it's like, books being stacked or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's cool. Yes, okay, I can dig on that. And he has a lot of that stuff in here as the mystery is being unfolded by the people who are looking into it. And, I don't know. The best performance is probably the wife.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, too. Because she has the most to do. Yeah.
But, man,
they're all great, though. They're all really great. Really good, like, drama, family drama, relationship stuff going on between everybody. And even, like, the townspeople, like, some of the, kind of side characters, I liked all of them.
The sister's little love interest, I thought he was really cool.
Yeah, I did too. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. We say watch it.
100%. 100%. If you hate it, then you can come at us, whatever. I think this is a cool film, and I wouldn't recommend something unless I genuinely thought that it has a good chance of landing with like half the people who watch it, I think. If you don't like it, it's okay. It's a short investment. It's an hour and a half or less, and I think more eyes on this is good. Yes. Even if you don't like it, I hope you at least appreciate what they're going for. But I do think this is going to have its fan base for sure.
Yeah,
I think
I
the
do
Hell
too.
House LLC people will be really into this.
I do too.
So that's that.
Yeah.
Anything more, Ben?
No.
All right. Yeah, please check it out. This is the kind of movies I love to support. And they just, I don't know. I get so bummed that these types of movies get so overlooked and so disliked. It's a shame for me, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll see you in the comments.
Bye.
Adios.